Let's talk 1x10. I fitted a bigger gear on the back of my 10-speed cassette, and I went 1x10 a while ago. I love the simplicity of it, the versatility, easier, lower maintenance, it's quieter, you're less likely to drop a chain and kill yourself. And that's what always did my head in. Also less chain, so you always got a chain stuck normally when you were shifting between the cogs on the front. So that's why I went 1x10. But recently I fitted a larger rear sprocket on the back here. This is a 38 tooth. Shimano standard cassettes are 34 or 36 tooth. Why did I fit this, you may ask? Well, it just makes life a bit easier for climbing, because one of the limitations of 1x10 is the fact that I've only got a 34 tooth on the front there, and when it comes to climbing steep hills, it's just a pain in the ass because you're missing that granny ring. And that's effectively what this larger gear does. It gives you that kind of granny ring, spinning up a hill type of ability. Very, very easy to fit. If your mech is already working properly, there's very little things you need to do apart from take your wheel out, remove your cassette, slot in your bigger gear and any spacers that might have came with it, and then you remove your 17th tooth cog, which is the more appropriate one to remove, but you can remove any one you really like, but it's in the middle of the cassette. It's one that's not necessarily used that often, so you pop that out, slide on the rest of your cassette, do up the bolt, do up your lock ring, click it all back in. You will need to adjust the B tensioning screw, which that actually adjusts the height of this top jockey wheel from your cassette, just because obviously that's a bit bigger, so you need to make a little bit more room there. But once you do that, generally away you go, and you can tackle those hills. My sprocket is actually from MTBTOOLS. They're an eBay store, but this guy, he knows what he's doing. He makes it's a very robust cog, and he's got on offer 38 tooths and 41 tooths. I think he can offer. I think there's also some in between. And they don't have, his models don't have any shifting ramps on, but honestly I haven't had any issues with shifting. It just works, and it's a bit heavier than the alternative options out there, because there's some options from 1UP, Hope are coming out with their versions, and there's just a handful of them coming out now. Wolftooth, I believe, have got their version now, but when this one comes in at 30 quid delivered straight from California, you can't go wrong. I mean, if you're tempted to try 110, it's a good way of trying it, and if you don't like it, you don't have to, you can just take it off and you've not wasted that much money. But it's definitely, I'm very happy with this. It shifts really well, and I've taken it to Cannock, because we're quite flat where we are, I'm on the edge of the fence, so this is actually a little bit redundant when I'm local. But I mean, when I go on my daily epics out on the weekend somewhere, I've got that get out gear where I can just click it in and pedal right on up. Shifts well still. You'll notice there's a little bit of a jump as it switches where it steps up, where the 17th tooth used to be, because there's now a 4 tooth gap difference. So it does have a little bit of a step up there, but it's not really noticeable. I mean, there's 4 teeth difference at the top here as well, across a 34 to a 38. So that's it. That is my 1x10 setup at the moment. I'll fill you in on this. This is a RaceFace narrow wide. Now, when you look at a chain, you've got your inner link and your outer link, and the gaps between actually go thin, fat as you go between the links. This does the same with the teeth. So you've got a thin tooth, then a fat tooth, then a thin one, then a fat one. And what that does is actually helps lock the chain down a bit more. It gives it a bit more grip, so when you're going over bumpy ground you don't throw your chains, which means I've now dropped my front guide, which I had on the front here. I had a chain guide, and I haven't dropped the chain since. It just runs beautifully smooth, beautifully silent, and it just works, which is what I really like. It's a very simple system. I've only got one cable now which I need to maintain regularly, and it works. So there's my 1x10 setup. I hope you like this video. Please like, subscribe, wherever these buttons are on your screen. Share the video if you want to. I'll appreciate if you did. And I will see you on the next one.